All right, what's up?
What's up, bro?
How you doing?
Good, you, bro? Thanks for
Good to see
making
you.
it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, you sent me a film.
I sent you a
Right.
film. Yeah.
Is that when it's coming out?
I don't have a date yet. We're working as hard as we can to get it out. It's like these things just take a really long time. We held a premiere at Lido Theater in January, and some changes had to be made to the film, so we're like kind of going through and re-editing a couple parts and a couple things about the film, but hopefully very, very soon, maybe this next month, it should be released.
Is the film based on your last ultra?
Yeah. So, well, 2 races ago. So I ran a 50K like last month. It's a big race, but it wasn't as big as Moab 240. So Moab was back in October. And that was like the biggest race I've ever ran before.
That's 230, right?
240. Well,
Oh.
they say it's a 240, but it was actually, I know 2 different people on their GPS, they clocked 250 miles. So it's a fucking long ass race.
Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. The app is really easy to use. To create a lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few players' stats. You can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Best of all, Prize Picks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you will get $50 just for playing. Use promo code Chito and download the app now. So, I have a question.
Yeah.
I know you for a long time now.
Yeah.
We see each other in the street.
Yeah.
I know you're a runner.
See you running. Yeah.
I run a lot. I would say this. For being a fighter, I'm a great runner.
Yeah.
But when I see you guys, that's like, I don't even want to go out running with you because when you get to meet Cameron, right?
Yeah.
Cameron Haynes.
Yeah.
I did the same thing with him. We did podcast, and off the plane, he asked me, and of course I'm not a bitch. He's like, "You wanna go for a run?"
Yeah.
And it's Cam Haynes. Fuck yeah, I say yes.
Yeah.
I say yes. In my mind, I say fuck no. I was literally coming off the plane. I land. He picked me up, and he say, "You wanna run?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah."
Yeah.
And he say, "Okay, let's go right now." I say,
Did you go to the mountain?
"Yes."
Yeah. Yeah.
We did the same one.
Yeah.
And I say, "Okay, so I change in the parking lot." Sure. I say, "Fuck, I haven't eaten." You know what I'm saying? I was just like, and this is right after my fight with O'Malley.
Okay.
So this was my first training since the fight. What helps me is that I'm not drinking, I'm not eating like shit. So I'm in papers, I'm fine. But
Yeah.
still, I haven't sweat at all. I haven't jumped in the sauna. This is like a month later after the fight. And I'm like, fuck, how I'm gonna do? And one of his friends that he helped me for my marathon, Ben,
Yeah.
he was there. That motherfucker.
Ben
also-
Blankenship. Yeah.
Bro.
Legend.
He said something about like a 3-minute mile, and I look at him and I say, like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like,
Yeah. He's an Olympian.
I'm like, can you do a 3-minute mile? How? I mean, if I do 650 for like 10 seconds, I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
fuck yeah.
But check it out though. It's all kind of relative. If all you were doing was training for running, you would be an amazing runner. You're just focused on something totally different, you know?
No, exactly. So when I was prepping for the marathon, it was right after one of my fights, and I was just running.
Yeah.
So Ben sent me a full email with every day, do 5 minutes
planned,
today,
yeah.
do 7 minutes tomorrow, do this pace, do that. And I was like, fuck, this looks hard as fuck. So my first 3 runs, I was like, I'm not built for this shit. After 10 days,
You are though. Yeah.
I was like, holy fuck, I'm running like a maniac.
It's crazy how much you progress, like how quickly too.
It was so quick. But then I started training again,
Mm-hmm.
MMA. And, punching in the morning, kicking in the afternoon,
Mm-hmm.
lifting weights.
You only have so much energy in the
And
day.
then I was
Yeah.
like, when I was running, I was like, oh, all my running went through the window. So I know for a fact what's going to happen when I retire.
Yeah.
I'm going to join you guys because you pick it up.
You're fucking made for this shit.
You
yeah.
pick it, and I love it.
Yeah.
So going back to the Cam story, we went to this parking lot, and I see like a little hill, and I'm like, how far are we going? He's like, well, from this hill to the top, it's
3
10 miles.
Yeah. Okay. So the backside. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we go to the other hill, which is, and I'm like, so total like 15? He said, yes. And I'm like, I haven't never run past, no. I told him, back in the day, I did 1 time 16, and never again. I said, yeah, it's only 15. I'm like, yeah, but with you.
Yeah.
Did you went in the part that it was like there was not even a trail? You pretty much have to pretty much crawl.
Yeah. Up Mount Pisgah. Yeah.
Bro, it was like we were going over trees and
steep.
shit, and I was like looking up, and I was like, bro, it's like, how you feeling? Oh, great. And I'm like, I wanna give up the whole time, but I'm like, I can't give up in front of these two guys. So we finish it, but then when we finish it, Ben says, "Okay, guys, see you guys later. I'm gonna do a quick 30." I say, 30 minutes? It's like, no, 30 miles. I say, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, eventually I'm gonna get there. But going to you, I met you a while ago. We always see each other like in the street. We always talk running and stuff. Back then you weren't running like now.
Yeah, I mean, I've been technically a professional runner for the last 2 years. Actually less than that, like probably a year and a half I've been a pro runner, but I've been competing in ultras since 2022, and I only started running like a couple years before that. So I'm like pretty new into running. And I always just like surfed and skated and never.
When was the transition from being an average runner to like going crazy? When did that happen?
Yeah. I always was, I don't know. I felt like I was kind of naturally gifted. Like when I first started running, I could barely do like 3 or 4 miles on the street. And then, I just like, dude, I got obsessed with it. I just kept running. And every time I'd go for a run, I'd run a little bit further or a little bit faster. And, it was pretty quickly to where I was like doing 10-mile runs, like within maybe 6 months of like actually getting into running. And then, I decided to sign up for my first marathon. And I was like kind of thinking, oh, I'll have a goal of running 4 hours for the marathon. Like that's like a pretty standard goal for a lot of people. Like 4 hours is good. And then I ran like 3 hours, 27 minutes. So I like blew my goals out of the water, and I was like, oh shit, this is, maybe I'm like kind of good at this thing. And then signed up for one marathon, did that, ran another one, and then I was like, oh, what are these ultra marathons? And then signed up for a trail race in Tahoe. It was like 50K with 11,000 feet of vertical gain. It's just like 2 laps up this huge mountain, and I did that and just like did really good there. And I just like, I don't know, it was just this weird kind of natural progression of just like having really good results and just wanting to like push myself more and try harder shit and longer shit. And it was kind of happened pretty quick.
I mean, it is happened pretty quick because I think when I met you for the first time, I'm pretty sure we were either in a coffee shop or randomly in the street, and I knew because all your group of guys, I'm like, okay, these guys run. And say, hey, we should run together. I'm like, I don't know if we should run together. You guys look like you guys know what you guys doing. I do, but that's what I do by myself on Sundays. Yeah. And I do my 13.
We always see you, and we're so hyped when we see you. Dude, it must be crazy being, like, how many people honk at you? Like, I've honked at you in my car and been like, Chito! And, like, I know you have no idea who's yelling at you, and you're just like, yo.
And honestly, believe it or not, that's why because when I start my runs on Sundays, I'm already beat the fuck up. I already wrestle, grapple, spar, and I don't want to do it. But every people honking at me
fires you
thank
up.
You.
Yeah,
because every time I'm like going, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna win this fight. And yo, let's go, bro. I love you. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. And honestly,
it gives you power.
It gives you, bro, shit lot of power. When my first 3 miles are so miserable because I'm so sore.
Yeah.
My Achilles is giving up. My calves are weak. I don't even have calves. My tight, everything is just weak. And I'm like, but then once I'm warm and, you know, people cheering, is just like, thank you, Costa Mesa. You fucking guys make me go because I'm dead on Sunday.
Fuck yeah.
And sometimes I wake up and my wife look at me and I'm literally like sitting like this and she's like, are you sure you want to run? I'm saying, you don't understand.
Yeah, you have to.
I'm David Goggins myself right now. You don't understand. Because once I do it, it's crazy. On Monday, I have my best day. And I'm so fucked up on Monday. And but just because I knew how hard it was and the challenge that I went through, it's just mentally you go
running
another layer.
Yeah, running is so mental. And like for like a race, like a 240-mile race, like it's so much less about physical fitness and more so about mental strength. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep doing marathons through my career. I was trying to sign up for LA, but I'm fighting May 4th, May 3rd. So I'm like,
Do you know who you're fighting yet?
I'm fighting Mario Bautista.
Fuck yeah, that'll be a sick fight.
He's a strong grappler. He comes forward.
Yeah.
He got hard. He punch. So for this fight, I'm gonna bring ultra cardio because this guy, if good grapplers get you tired, you're fucked.
I actually had a question for you. So with like the just UFC, just fighting in general, the sport being so elevated, do you see that as like the next frontier of like extreme endurance or extreme cardio? Like that's going to be like the next level of the top tier athletes is like whoever has the best cardio.
I mean,
because like everyone's killers. Everyone's a killer.
They're all killers.
Yeah.
But at some point, one of those two guys are gonna say, "Fuck it, I don't want to be here anymore." And that's that mental edge that is like, that's why the Diaz were so popular and successful at one point in time. I feel like if they were be a little more open in getting strong with weightlifting also, because I lift mad heavy.
Yeah. I see you've been lifting more now, right?
I've been, my secret through my whole career, I'm like, the heavier I squat, I feel like that increased my testosterone because everything comes from the legs.
Right.
The punch, even like Vito was talking yesterday on a video, the boxer, he was like, the punch is like a rock attached to a rope. It's like the last thing is the knuckles.
The power is coming
It's
from
like
your legs.
everything comes from the legs, and I'm like, thank you. And in the off season, I squat very heavy and I run really long. And then when I have a fight, I do few weeks of heavy, and then I start jumping.
Yeah.
Jumping with weights, sprinting.
More plyo stuff.
More plyo stuff, because then I get that speed. But I already build a big lung capacity and heart capacity so I can last long. So sometimes like I bring like extremely high level wrestler, and I have to born again to get to that level. So that guy comes in, we go 5-minute rounds, wrestling open. No jiu-jitsu, not chokes, nothing, just pure wrestling. The guy fucked me up the first round. Take me down over and over and over. Second round, beat the fuck out of me. Third round, he's getting a little tired.
Yeah.
I stuff the takedown.
You're never gonna give up. Yeah.
I'm not giving up. I know I'm gonna get fucked up, but I can kind of pass that. So once I go in the cage, and I spar a high level guy, sometimes they're like, oh, Chito starts slow, Chito this, Chito that. That's fine. You're gonna try your best at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of a gamble, but I'm gonna catch up to you.
Totally.
And eventually, my best fights, they're being like that. Of course, I'm working on start a little faster, putting more numbers. That's a mind connection that sometimes you wait. Fuck, you wait too long. So now my coach is like, okay, I can change the way you fight. You fight beautiful, but let's add a little bit. Let's try to get to another level. And I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah. And your gas tank is fucking huge.
It's everything because
the fact that you're never gonna give up and like you can't be finished, that's like that'll make you a great ultra runner. Like just those two things alone, like it has so much. Yeah,
I've been like daydreaming about. I'm like, I'm gonna retire at 37.
Yeah,
I'm 32. I got 5 years to become a champion, to hold my belt, to do all that. But I know the moment I hang it up, I'm just gonna run every day.
Yeah,
I don't wanna ever punch.
You love it.
I love it because it's so sick. Like I went to Ecuador 2 weeks ago to film a commercial, and I'm friends with the cops over there. And one of the cops is running the Everest with no oxygen.
Sick.
He's like a fucking maniac. So we went to, they call it the heart attack. It's
heart attack. Yeah.
It's this green hill. There's no path. It's just all green grass all the way up. It's only 100 meters. We were looking up, and I was like, where in the fuck is the finish line? And this guy was laughing. He sprint all the way up.
Yeah.
He was filming me, and I was like, it took us like over an hour.
Yeah.
Only 4 kilometers.
Fuck, that's steep.
But there was no chill. All up. And I'm like, when you come by yourself, it's like, 35. I'm like, 35 minutes. But this is all I do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So I can get to this level eventually. And then there's a volcano we have, is the Cotopaxi.
Yeah.
He's like, he go running all the time. I'm like, fuck, next time I come, I'm going to make a day. He's like, dude, most people that travel want to have fun. You're already setting up. I'm like, fuck all that shit. I want to go.
You want to suffer. Yeah.
I want to. Because when I was in this mountain, we have the sticks and everything, and I was just like, he was looking at me, he was laughing. He's like, bro, you really like to get beat up
Fuck
because
yeah.
I had to film the commercial that night.
Yeah.
She's like, "You want to do it short?" I'm like, oh, "Fuck the commercial. I'm gonna smile regardless. I'm gonna be fine." But the fact that I did this, and after that they took me to shooting guns, I was like, "That's all I need to have the right space when
Yeah.
I'm, hey, say this, pose." Oh, again, I'm gonna be all energy just because I'm already doing something that I really want to
Totally.
do.
Yeah.
And bro, we were like above the clouds. Like I was looking back and see like, oh fucking what? I was like, fuck.
Dude, so surprisingly, we actually have pretty good trail running here. Like the mountain right over here, the Santiago Peak
Yeah.
or whatever. Do you go driving up there, right?
I went to a place. Fuck, what's the name of that place? I went last night there.
Black Star?
No, I went last night and then I just went up the hill, park.
Holy Jim.
Yes,
Okay,
that one.
Yeah.
That one.
So there's really good trail running there. Like that's a sick ass mountain. Like that's probably. Do you measure in feet or meters?
Feet.
So
All
if
feet.
you run from the Holy Jim trailhead to the top, it all just got burned, so I don't even know if it's open right now. But it's like 15 miles and like 4,000 to 5,000 feet of vertical gain. So it's like a serious mountain run.
That's a heavy one.
Yeah, and then, even Crystal Cove. Like, do you ever go run there?
My last 13, I went from my house
Mm-hmm.
by the back bay. I went all the way down to PCH, to Corona, and then I get inside Crystal
Mhm.
Cove,
Yeah.
and I did like 9 miles. Then I
Mhm.
came back, and by what's the sushi spot in the corner of your house? At the very corner. Sugarfish.
Yeah.
And over there, I just call
I
an
love
Uber.
that
But
place.
that place is great.
So good.
I think it's the best sushi spot.
It is, and it's cheap too.
Which is the best part.
No tipping. It's just so
It's
easy.
great. I love that
simple
place.
menu. God, I love that place
What
too.
about like
we should
Dartmoor?
we should
Do
go
you ever
right
run
now.
Dartmoor or anything like that?
Dartmoor.
Dartmoor is like an 11-mile trail. It'll connect Laguna to Irvine.
Oh yeah, I
It's
know
a
that's on
fire
like the
run.
other side. I don't really run over there too much. Like I usually will just either do stuff in Crystal Cove. Like you can link. I usually start at this park. It's called Ridge Park or something, Pacific Ridge Trailhead, but it's at the top of Crystal Cove. So I'll usually start there, and you can link up stuff into Irvine, or you can just go all the way through to Laguna. But we have like really good trail running here in Southern California.
I'll be honest. The only reason I haven't asked
Mhm.
to go is because I've been a little scared about how far you
I'm
guys
not gonna
will go.
fuck you up.
Okay,
Come-
okay.
Yeah.
So this weekend we can go.
Yeah, of course.
So
And bro, this is the thing that people don't realize with ultra running is running, but it's also walking. Like you have to walk. There will be points where it's so steep you can't run.
that's what
So-
Cam told
yeah.
me that one time, because when I'm running, I'm always looking at my watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, if says that I'm going at pace 10,
Mm-hmm.
I'm already like, no. I know all these fucking crazy people.
doesn't-
I need to at least run at 8. And it kind of like focuses my mind. And now I'm always just trying to beat my time. And I can that's why I almost stop enjoying it.
Yeah.
Because now I'm always like, I need to do better than this. I need to do better than this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, chill, dude. You're doing
Yeah.
this in your day off.
You just got to put your watch on a different screen so you're not seeing the numbers. Just put it on like the time, so you just know how long you're running.
I probably should do that, because now I'm always
Just go
like,
by feel, because every day you're gonna feel different. One day you might feel really good, and 8-minute pace will feel easy to you. But another day you might be super depleted and tired, and 11-minute pace feels hard. It's just
It's
like
true.
so relative. And like, are you going uphill? Are you running downhill? It's like there's so many different factors.
That's what Cam
that play
told me.
into
Is like, he asked me like, do you ever walk? And I say I should,
Yeah.
because I'm not a pro, but I'm always like, I got this fighter mentality that, oh no, run, and then that's why I run with the
Yeah.
music to
Right.
make it harder on me, and then I go, and it's like, no, but you should walk. You should probably do.
Sometimes it's more efficient to walk up a hill than like run at a really slow pace. Like just keeping a really steady, solid hike or walk uphill is you're saving energy
That
rather than
makes-
like trying to run and just.
That makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense. And now that this becomes a serious job for you,
Mhm.
what's like, how you do? Like, let's see, there's no competition. What's your normal week?
Fuck. Yeah, well, I still work a full-time job. So I work at Hurley. I'm an apparel designer. So I have to get pretty creative with how I train, especially for, I got a 250-mile race coming up in May, early May, I think May 9th. So a couple days after your fight, I'll be doing my
You'll be
next
fighting
big
too.
adventure. Yeah, fighting for my life. No, but Yeah, I just lately for a race like that, I try to focus on volume. So like weekly mileage is kind of my biggest metric and most important thing that I try to do. So for Moab, I think during my peak, I was running like 120 to 130 mile weeks with like 30,000 feet of elevation gain. So I'm looking at like 24 to 26 or 28 hours of training per week.
So how
yeah.
much a day you run?
So it varies. Some days I might only run 10. Some days I might run 30 or 35. It just kind of depends on the day and my time. But I typically run like 15 to 20 a day. Usually 2 runs a day. Sometimes I'll even run 3 times in a day. So before work, on my lunch break, and then after work. So I'll do like a stair climber session in my garage that's like for an hour, 3,000 feet of vertical gain, 3 miles, and then do like another 7-mile run on my lunch break for an hour, go back to work, and then get off work and then do another 10 or 15.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's a lot of running.
Yeah.
So, of course, for that 250 miler, you won't run 250 on one session.
No, you can't. So what I did for Moab, and I think I did it really well, was I raced races of certain lengths, like longer and longer leading up to Moab. So I started with like a 100K, like a 60-mile race in January. And then in April, I ran a 100-miler. And then in August, I ran like a really mountainous, hard 100-miler in France. That was like almost a 2-night race. And then Moab was a couple months after that. So I kind of like built up my races throughout the year to lead up to Moab since I knew it was coming. And for Cocodona, this next race, I didn't really have enough time. There wasn't enough races, but I just raced a race a couple weeks ago. I did pretty good, but it wasn't a super long race. And you can't really just go out for like you can't go run 200 miles. It's almost like
it's crazy.
Yeah, it does more harm than it does good for training. Like if you run for 100 miles, like that's gonna fuck your body up, and then you might not be at like. Usually after these races, like I'm fucked up for a month. Like I'm like still suffering from stuff from Moab back in October.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because when I prepared for my marathon, it was my first ever.
Mm-hmm.
I never run past 16 miles, and at the beginning of my running camp, I was doing great because, like I told you, I was just running, not training.
Yeah.
Then when I started training and running, and then I was like, fuck, my running slowed down a lot. Then I went to Ecuador for 10 days to work.
Mm-hmm.
So I run 45 minutes here and there in between breaks because out there it's hard for me to go out run in the street.
Yeah.
And then after that, I came back and it was like 3 weeks for New York, and I'm like, fuck, I'm not ready. But again, I'm not good at pulling out. I said, fuck it, I'm going to just show up and do it. So I went to New York, and the night before, I didn't sleep. Not 1 hour.
Was it because you were nervous?
I was just thinking about it.
Yeah,
How's I going to do? I have to finish this shit.
Yeah.
So I kind of like closed my eyes around 3 a.m. My alarm sounds at 5. I make the huge mistake of going to the bus on a tank top and short shorts. I get to Staten Island. It was freezing. And you know, I was just in the ground, just fucking. And then a few Ecuadorians saw me. I was like, "Hey guys," they fucking give me like the metallic
blankets
look,
or whatever.
the blanket shit. So thank you guys. And then when the run started, I was like, "Thank God, I need to warm up." And then I saw people doing exercises, stretching, and I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
I normally my warm up is just run.
Yeah.
So I saw everybody doing some sort of stuff, and I was just like asking someone next to me, I'm like, "Do you warm up?" I said, "Yeah." I'm like,
everyone's different. I don't really warm up like that. Like I
didn't,
running.
so I just start.
Yeah.
But the New York thing was so packed with people. It was
How sick was that?
It was the best experience of my life. Banks, live bands.
Yeah.
People throwing you
the
candy.
whole city is a party.
The whole entire 26 miles.
Yeah.
It's just packed, and I was like, okay, this will get me through.
Yeah.
I
need to do that one. I've never done New York.
When is New York?
It's kind of hard to get into.
I think I can get through New Balance. I can get +1.
I'm down if you got a bit. If you can get a bit from me, I'll
I try. I think
sure.
I can try, because
November 2nd.
Oh, Because
yeah.
if I'm fighting now,
November 2nd, 2025, actually.
Yeah, I got a 200 miler in September, so I should be well
you
enough
can go.
to run
You could go. You
a
could go
marathon
easy.
a
You
month
could go
later.
easy.
No, but yeah, that would be
And
sick. Hey, you need to have New Balance send you some trail shoes.
I just asked because when I
Yeah.
went to Ecuador, I went on regular running shoes and
You were slipping all over the
bro,
place, huh?
I
Yeah.
was
It
falling.
makes a huge difference.
No, I asked already because when I went to Ecuador, I was like, hey, send me trail because I want to try the trails here
Yeah.
because the only trail that I really go is Peters Canyon,
I'll take you to some sick ones. Yeah.
and Peters Canyon is just 190
It's one
second
hill,
sprint and you come down, but that one it's heavy. I was thinking to go there Saturday just to do 10 sprints
Yeah.
because that one training in that specific hill, it make you feel the same when you're tired in a fight.
Yeah.
It damage your whole entire body. You feel the pain here, you feel pain in your legs, you feel pain in your low back. And the way that one make you, because that one is steep.
Yeah.
And I go one, come down. And I go all the way up. Upstairs, I take a breather. I walk back, but the moment I touch base, I
You gotta go
run
back.
up.
Yeah.
That one is weird because the first one you go like boom, boom. And then you go, oh, fuck. By number 3, you're already fully.
It's like rounds, right? Yeah.
Just like that. How's once you do the long ones, the 250, how's the process of the whole race? Like when you eat, when you sleep, when you fucking take a shit, like how that works?
Yeah. So going into Moab, it was my first 200 miler. So I had done multiple 100-mile races, so I kind of had an idea of like most of the aspects. So for fueling, like nutrition and hydration, like I kind of know how much I sweat, so I try to hit like maybe about a liter. Well, it depends on like the conditions, if it's hot, if it's cold, if it's windy, if it's dry, but just keeping myself hydrated. And kind of the most important thing is getting your electrolytes and your carbohydrates down. So I shoot for anywhere from like 80 to 120 grams of carbohydrates per hour to keep my body fueled. And then I did a sweat test, so I know that I lose about a gram of sodium per liter of water. So those two things, just having your sodium and your fuel dialed, is like will keep you from what they say bonking. Like, you know, when you go on a long run and you just like hit that wall where you're like, oh, I have no more energy. That usually has to do with nutrition and hydration. So it's taken me a couple years to kind of figure out like the process with that and finding out what works for me. And there's so many different kinds of gels and drink mixes that you can get that help with that. But the biggest like thing that I hadn't experienced in a race like that, like a multi-day race, was the sleep deprivation. Like it's so gnarly and there's no way to like kind of plan or prepare for that. So yeah, and like it was a lot of people end up having hallucinations, and it's just you can't really plan or expect to know what's going to happen until you actually do it. So I ended up sleeping a total of like an hour and maybe like an hour and a half total. So I took 3 40-minute naps at mile 140, 170, and then mile 200.
That's fucked.
Yeah,
up.
and I actually took another 2 5-minute just dirt naps, just like on the ground in the trail. I could not even stand up, so I just laid down for 5 minutes and went out.
How many people is running one of these ones?
A race like Moab is like I think like 350 people maybe.
Oh, there's
all psychos.
A few.
Yeah,
that's fucking sick.
But then like the race that I ran a couple weekends ago was like thousands of people, and then. Yeah, I mean, there's different races. Like I ran this one in Chamonix, France, back in August. It's this event called UTMB. It's like the biggest trail running event in the world. Actually, the main UTMB race, I think some guy from Ecuador got 3rd place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forget his name. I think he's from Ecuador. But yeah,
because
I'll have to look up his name.
Because one of my friend, the police, he told me he did mention an Ecuadorian.
Is it like Mario or man? I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure the dude that got 3rd was Ecuadorian. Is it big? Is it big? Is trail running big in Ecuador?
I mean, we have some crazy mountains, and when I was in this hill, I saw few people in there. I'm like, okay, I can see you guys. And then when they saw me, like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I love your sport more than I like my own. Is way better because it's
Yeah.
almost like is you're not just fighting with the time, is you're fighting with yourself. In a fight, it's
You
like
versus you.
in a fight, someone has to win.
Right.
Over there, doesn't matter. It's just finish line what matters.
Yeah.
And that's what like I find running so cool because I'm like, fuck, I don't need to like just run. It's not like you're thinking about, oh fuck, Carlos is gonna fuck me up in 6 months. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like 200 people running.
Yeah.
If I take place 199 or 50 or 10, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're finishing, and you can
A finish is the one.
progressively
Yeah.
get better at it, and you know the number of miles.
Yeah.
In a fight, it's like first round start, you can break your toe, and then it's like then what? Then you're fucked. So running to me is is a thing that running get me through fighting because when I'm running, I know I'm getting in shape, I'm getting stronger, and it just helps my mind. Before I used to surf to stay sane. Now I'm like, I'm not even surfing. I'm just running.
I'm like always scared to go surf because like, what if I get injured? Like, what if I was before LA Marathon 2020, I was like surfing with my buddy Cam, and we were out surfing Huntington. I just jumped off my board, and my board hit my toe and like bent my toe sideways, and I had turf toe for like a month and a half. I couldn't even put a shoe on, and I was like, damn, dude, that was like a super dumb idea.
That's why I stopped doing. Before I used to either rock climbing indoor,
Yeah.
surf. To do that was like my yoga.
Yeah.
And now that I find running like that, I'm like, I just take everything off the equation.
Yeah.
Like if
It takes over.
if anything gets like if my training gets canceled or hey dude, the partners text me they can make it today, I'm like, oh, tie my shoes off. Boom.
Yeah.
Every training that gets canceled or something happen, I fix it with running.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm gonna go for a run.
Running and fighting are the two sickest sports ever. Like if you think about it, like running and fighting are like the most primal sports, like the fight or flight response, like all humans have. Like it's either fighting or running. Like that's it.
And most people is like, hey, where should I train? I'm like, get a pair of running shoes.
Yeah.
Go for 10 minutes. You're gonna feel that you can go for 5. Go for 10. The next day, try 11. Before you know, you're running 6 miles. And then once you get to that point, you're doing 13, 20. No, that's impossible. I'm like, bro, trust me.
Yeah.
You can.
It comes quick.
I saw in New York Marathon people with no legs. I saw people
Fuck yeah.
overweight. I saw
70-year-old ladies. Yeah.
people just signed up. It's the most primal thing. You run for yourself, and running brings something different to your body and mind that I have done many sports that nothing else can bring.
Yeah.
Because I know there's great things out there, but running will set your living better. By 1,000% on anything.
Yeah.
I bet my money on, because it just brings something that nothing else
Yeah.
brings. That's why I'm always sending people, go run,
Right.
go for a walk, go uphill, just walk, crawl.
Yeah, and if you enjoy running and you get into it, it's like kind of like you said, like everything else in your life is going to have to come together. You'll clean up your diet, you'll start going to bed earlier, like you'll start I mean everything. Yeah, I mean it's been my experience that like once I really got into running and started like getting some success with running, and I just like really leaned into it, it's like all other aspects of my life just like kind of came together, and it was like I don't know, I just like went to the next level.
The one thing I haven't figured out yet is the gel part, electrolyte part. Like sometimes I wake up on a Sunday, I do like 2 eggs, half avocado, and a piece of bread for carbs, and then I do like electrolyte on my water, and then I go. And then a good runner was like, so what you bring with you? I say, nothing.
Yeah.
So like, what happened when you hit the wall? I say, I keep going. And then when I start putting gels on my pocket, if it's up to me,
Yeah.
I will go up, run naked or in a speedo.
Same.
Because
Yeah.
I don't want to, even my phone, I don't want it on
Yeah.
me. And most of the time I end running the whole 13 in the phone in my hand, because like I hate the pocket feel.
Yeah.
When I did the marathon, I put 16 gels and I put it on my shorts.
So, hey, they make these like belts that you can get, these like stretchy belts, and you can just like put a bunch of stuff on your waist So it's like a waist belt.
I throw away the belt because I felt
didn't like
so
it?
much discomfort. I throw away and I literally just stuff them inside my shorts.
Just in your waistband?
Yeah.
Did that shape you up?
It fucked me up, but somehow no rashes
Yeah.
anywhere. I didn't put Vaseline, nothing, and everyone's like, "Dude, you have no experience," and I'm like, "I'll be fine."
Yeah.
I mean,
And you were fine. Yeah.
I was fine. I had no rashes.
You just gotta do what you always do. Do what works for you. Like everybody's different. So, dude, there's people that put so much thought and they do all kinds of crazy shit and so much gear. It's like, it's honestly not even that complicated.
Everybody was tripping because I run without socks and with the underwear. And everybody that I told them this, they were like, "No, I'm like, I never run with socks or underwear." Yes, but you have never run a marathon. I'm like, I know, but every time I use socks, my feet goes numb. Oh, we're running socks. I say I tried a few different ones. I need to go fully.
That actually used to happen to me back in the day. My one of my feet would go numb. Like it happened maybe like 4 or 5 times, and then it just kind of started going away. But I always wear socks.
I can.
You don't.
And
don't
my
like
nails
socks?
don't even go
I don't
out.
wear underwear. That's definitely no. But I always wear socks. Yeah.
I don't. And everybody, your nails are gonna fall apart. They never go fall apart.
Your knees.
My nails.
Oh, your nails. Yeah.
Like everybody's like, your nails are gonna fall. I'm like,
Dude, you should see mine. They're fucked up.
well, you run crazy. But one of when I went to Ecuador for the marathon, I hit a metal pole.
Oh fuck.
And one of my nails came off because of that. And I run the marathon a few weeks later, and I was like, fuck, that nail's gonna come out. I took my shoe off. That motherfucker is still there. It fall off a few weeks later, kicking.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how? I must have strong nails because they did not come out.
Huh.
And I run with the shoes they gave me for the marathon. And everyone, you have to break them out. I'm like, fuck, I guess I break them down in the run.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to win the race.
You were just winging it. I love that.
I was just trying to finish it.
Yeah.
That was all I was trying. And I enjoy eating pasta the night before. I was like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. The food in New York is so good.
Bro, I eat pasta every day leading up because I was like, I'm running.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna lose all this weight.
Yeah.
But crazy part is like I run without my phone, just with my watch, no music, nothing. I was so fried after the run because all the streets were closed.
Yeah.
So because my hotel was right in front of Central Park, but I couldn't cross the street. The cops didn't let me.
Oh shit.
I have to walk
After the race.
after the race 3 miles around to come back. I get to the hotel and I'm in a rut. Give me my phone, and I was like, I don't know my password. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't know my password.
Oh, you were just fried.
I was fried. So I was like looking at my phone. I try password incorrect. Try incorrect. Okay, lock for 15 minutes. Okay, wait. Try again. Incorrect. So I eventually tried long enough that the phone was fully blocked.
No.
So now I'm in New York with no phone. I gotta DM my wife from his phone. I'm like, hey, I have no phone. He said, what do you mean? It's like, I don't have a password. I went to Apple. They asked me, what's your iCloud password? I said, I have no idea. But I'm here. So we said, what, 2 more days?
Yeah.
So 2 days, which it was great.
Yeah.
No phone, no social media, no fucking looking at nothing. Just letting my wife know I was alive, what it was.
I was wondering why I didn't see anything on your Instagram of you
A
at
lot
the
of
race.
a lot of people thought something happened to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like you run a marathon and then you go silent for 2 days. I had the best time of my life with
sick.
no phone. This thing was just blacked out. I can see notifications coming, so I
But
can
you couldn't get in.
I can get in. Only if you call me, I can pick up. That's all I could
The
do.
Face ID didn't work?
After a few hours goes no. And even today, I don't know my old password. I thought I know. I like, you know, sometimes when you put the numbers, I'm like, okay, this might work, but it didn't work. And I don't know. I have no idea how that happened. I was just he was laughing. He was like, dude, for real? I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah, I do pretty much every race I run. Afterwards, I'm like fucked up. I'm out of my mind. I feel sick. I'm just like, I mean, I'm sure I don't want to say it's anything similar to a fight, but
It's probably worse. It's only 5 rounds or 3 rounds.
yeah. I don't want to take anything away because I think what you guys do is like the fucking gnarliest thing
It's
ever.
super gnarly, but you know it won't be more than 15 or 25 minutes. And then, yeah, you can get fucked up, sure.
Yeah.
But running for 3 days is a
Yeah.
different animal. I know that.
Yeah. And fuck, man, I don't want to say it almost killed me, but I felt like I was like pretty close to like death's door. I mean, I had friends who on day 2, they were like getting heat stroke and having to drop out of the race. Like it was gnarly.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, since you can prepare for that, it's either your body's meant to do it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just don't know what's going to happen. Like, I told myself, what's going to happen after mile 20 when it's only
Yeah.
6 left? And I get to 20 and I was like, fuck, I feel normal still.
Yeah.
And then my last 5 miles, I actually did it like at 9:30, 9.
You were speeding up.
I
at the
speed
end.
up at the
Yeah.
end and I was like, holy shit. So that means, and then I told myself, that means I could try to do 30 when I don't have a fight.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't do it, but I'm like,
I'll do it with you.
now that I know,
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to give it a try
Yeah.
just to see what happened.
Yeah.
Because I was like, and everybody's like, dude, you're going to be fucked up for weeks. I came back to the
Nah,
gym.
you'd be fine.
I-
As long as you went easy and just like did it slow and just a long 30-mile grind, you'd be fine.
I started slow. I went my first 15 miles. So I went like 10,
Yeah.
10, 10. I wasn't even trying because I
You
was
could have
like,
gone way faster if you wanted to. Yeah.
one guy in New York asked me, "You want me to pace you?" And I say, "Sure," but then I didn't find him the next day.
Yeah.
I met him like an event the day before, and then I saw these pacers with the signs, but then I was looking at the 9:30, and then they went lost.
Yeah.
And I was
It's
like, what-
chaos. The
what-
beginning of the race is chaos.
It's
It's
I
a
like-
million people all just going at the same time.
and I was going through people, but I was like, where the paces are at? Maybe
Yeah,
I passed
yeah,
them, maybe I
yeah, yeah.
disconnect, and then I peed twice. And after that, I say no more stops.
Yeah.
And before the race, what I ate? I ate 2 bagels, dry. I was like, what I should do? I guess carbs will help.
Yeah, yeah.
And then during the race, people were like throwing like candy and shit. I was like, well, if
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
people doing this, might
And
help.
that's fuel. That's carbs. Yeah.
I did a few candies here and there. I got those salt packs put in my
Yeah.
mouth. The Red Cross
Dude,
gives you.
the salt is what people like. I'm sure at the end you saw a bunch of people cramping up, like people like,
Yeah.
oh, at the very end, like almost to the finish, but their legs just lock up. That's all salt.
The last 5 miles,
Mhm.
I see so much people in the ground, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "That could be me."
Mm-hmm.
But my instinct was, when every time I see the Red Cross, I get 2 little packs of salt open, put in my mouth, and
Yeah.
I felt I was fine.
Yeah, most people don't even do that. They don't even think about sodium, and like that's like the most important thing to keep yourself from cramping.
And I brought 4 element packs,
Yeah.
and what I did, because it's hard to running and putting your
Right,
water,
yeah.
and what
You were just dry ripping
I
them?
just
yeah.
dried
yeah,
them.
Yeah, yeah.
And it
I'll do that
feels great.
sometimes.
I was
Yeah.
like, because I like sour candy.
Mm.
Sour candy.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I a full element, when I was like, fuck, this feel. But dude, my eyes were like, whoa. I was like, this is the closest experience to cocaine I will ever have. I felt like, fuck, this thing, it hit me hard. But
Yeah.
then for 3 miles, I feel like more powerful.
Yeah.
Like salt is
Yeah.
really important.
Mhm. Salt and carbs.
I mean, it's not a bad sport. You can eat good food. I mean,
Yeah.
most of the runners, they're eating, they can eat whatever they want because
Mhm.
you will burn it. And eating super clean, for me, to make the weight for a fight, it's almost like you have to starve yourself.
Yeah.
And then for this sport, you have to overeat. I'm like, you're more happy because
And if you love food, running is the best sport for that. Yeah.
for now until May 2nd, which is the weigns,
Mhm.
I have to lose like over 20 pounds.
Fuck.
And that's normal.
So how do you do that? Do you just like diet like less? Do you eat less carb? Like do you do a low carb diet? Like what's your strategy?
Low carb,
Mhm.
everything is weight, everything is by ounce. There's
And you track all of it, and yeah.
like now, because my weight is good,
Mm-hmm.
I can eat kind of normal, but 6 weeks before has to be exactly weight, this much of protein, this much of carbs, this much of fruit. And if that's not done right,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not losing
Are
weight.
you tracking what calories you're burning in training so that you're in a deficit, or do you just kind of know?
Nah, I don't track at all. And I go by the feeling, but
Mm.
you know, it goes from like a cup of fruit, half a cup of normal carbs, you start with 6 ounces of protein, then to 4, then
Fuck.
to 3, and then you go like, but then you gotta go to the gym and wrestle a
Right.
normal guy or a spar a normal guy because you're the only one cutting weight.
Ugh.
That's why like the 3 weeks before the last few sparring sessions, you're fighting hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Some people stop sparring.
Right.
I need to spar. I want my eyes to be fucking sharp. I want to see everything coming at me. But a spar while you're cutting weight, it's
brutal.
a motherfucker.
Brutal.
Cheeto, how do you stay healthy when you're living in a calorie deficit and going twice a day that hard?
I mean, you just hope for the best. For real. Like there's
Yeah,
no
like in running, if you're like in a calorie deficit, like a lot of times people can get injured just because you're like so like
you're
malnourished.
a
Yeah,
little
like
weaker.
yeah, totally.
Before the Frankie Edgar fight, I have something that happened. I got taken down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I land. I finished my rounds. We finished camp. This is Friday, and I'm fighting next Saturday. And finish my rounds. Everybody applauds. Okay, let's go win. I took a shower, and I sit down in the shower and it's like, whoa. So like I can't get up. Like I can get up. Next morning I call Dr. Yi. I'm like, Doc, I need help. I can walk. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I can walk. I need to stand up with help. And my manager's like, I call my manager. I'm like, he's like, you want to pull up? I was like, fuck no. This is a huge fight for me.
Was it your leg or your back?
In my something on my low back.
Mm.
But one leg, I have to stand up sideways because if I stand up with both legs, I will like just drop to the ground.
Oh. So was it like a nerve thing?
I'm
Something,
assuming.
yeah.
He massaged me for like 2 hours. He put all the machines. On Sunday, I did nothing. I just lay on my back. On Monday, did nothing. On Tuesday, I fly to New York. I was able to walk.
That's so crazy.
But I was still fucked up. By Thursday, it was the first day on Wednesday is the first day I started punching with coach. And I was like, he's like, how you feeling? I'm like,
I don't know.
it's very painful.
Ugh.
But I'm not going to pull out. By Thursday, the UFC saw me. They massaged me. And I was like, and they asked me, you want to fight? I was like, yeah, I'm fighting. But then after I make weight, since I was so depleted, the pain came back.
Ugh.
So when I was with the commission, they say, stand up, do 10 squats. And I'm like, I can't do 10 squats. So I was kind of like just moving my top bar because they will pull you out if they see something wrong.
Damn, so you almost didn't fight that fight.
I didn't fight the fight. And
Wow.
that was the fight that put me on the map. So I was like, I cannot fight this fight.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck. But it's because you're in a calorie deficit.
Right.
You're skinny, you're training hard.
Everything's off in your body. Yeah.
And then you have to get in a fist fight the next day.
Fuck.
It's
that.
like how it's the craziest sport because it's like in every other just imagine for a play a 3-hour tennis match, you have to cut 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Then it's like makes no sense. We should weigh in right outside the cage.
Yeah.
And just fight at the wherever where you fight.
Yeah.
But weight
It's
cut,
crazy. Yeah.
weight cut was created by a pussy.
Yeah.
A big guy that wanna cut weight, put the weight back and be bigger.
It's just like cheating in a weird way, right?
It is cheating.
Yeah.
I wish if I could step in the cage at 155, I'd be the healthiest person in the world. But at 135,
Yeah.
fuck that.
I don't know how. Fuck. Do you walk around like around 155, 160?
I don't even touch
You don't
160. If I see 157, I start dying.
So we're around this. Fuck. That means I would fight at 135.
yeah.
Oh God, that must be so brutal.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
I'm like, why we have to do this? So from now on, I'm thinking more on making weight than my opponent.
Yeah.
And then once you make weight, you're like, oh fuck, now I have to fight.
Right.
But
At least you know that he's feeling the same way.
And I think he cuts more weight than I do. I saw him before. We fought in the same car one time, and he was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, dude, you got a lot of weight. But or maybe his body just react different. But weight cutting is, I have seen guys like barely death.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like I feel like a weight cut. If you see a guy cutting weight, close to weight, it's almost at the finish line of a race. And then he have the next day to recover, to fight the next day, which is
It'd be like running a marathon and then the next day having to run a 100-mile race.
something like that.
Yeah.
And you have to do it in a good time, the marathon,
Right.
because it's less.
Yeah.
That's why when I'm cutting, that's why I try to have a good diet the whole year. So because there's guys that they don't give a fuck, they forget. Oh, you're
And
fighting.
then they blow up, and then that's just more work that you have to do to get back down to your maintenance weight. Yeah.
I mean, Roberto Duran said in an interview that the last few huge fights that he had when he started losing, it was because he was so big that the whole fight camp was losing weight, not training boxing. And I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And when I see guys eating fried food, fucking around, drinking, I'm like, they're gonna get a call to fight, and they're gonna be, oh, I'm 30 pounds bigger than I should be. And
you just stay ready the whole time. Yeah.
I'm always eating right, eating good food, a lot of protein, low carb. I only one cheat meal a week, and if I cheat, I know the next day I have a long run. That's why if I'm gonna cheat, it's on Saturdays. At least I kind of like over calorie, because on Sunday I have a big run.
Right.
And at least I can use that as fuel.
Yeah.
But I know it's gonna be gone.
It's like timing your carbs or your calories or your cheat meals. Yeah. I kind of do the same thing too. I eat super clean, pretty low carb for the most part. And then if I have like a big run, or I'll definitely like have a bunch of carbs. But yeah, I don't really fluctuate weight too much. Dude, it was actually crazy. During Moab, I got like super bloated by the end of the race, just from like drinking so much fluids and sodium, that like I was probably like up like 5 or 10 pounds by the end of the race, because I was just like the whole race you're just fucking eating candy and junk food, pizza, quesadillas, fucking gels, all this like crazy shit. And then like my hands were swollen at the end, just like I was just like full of water.
How many like safe camps are in between the 200 miles?
Yeah, so at Moab, I think there was 15 aid stations. So, and they range. Like sometimes they're only 12 miles apart, but there were other stretches where like you'd go 25 miles without there being any water or like anything.
Holy
so
shit.
You're like, you got to carry a pack with like a bunch of like there was a point where I had to carry 4 liters of water and like tons of gels. Like I would go 5 or 6 hours without seeing anyone.
And what happened if something happened in between?
You're fucked.
You are, right?
You're fucked. Yeah, you're out in the middle of the desert in Utah. There's no one around. Like if something happens, like
do you carry like a knife or something in case a wild animal came?
No, I'm not really too worried about animals. I mean, like what
kind of animals could be around?
Mountain lions are probably the biggest threat, but
those are the huge threat.
Yeah. But I think if you're gonna see a mountain lion, like you're probably pretty lucky. Like most people will go their entire lives and never see a mountain lion. And then like different areas, there's bears and stuff, but predators aren't really too big of a threat. Honestly, rattlesnakes are like kind of the biggest danger when you're out there.
Because when you take a 45-minute nap.
Yeah, well, that was like in a car at the aid station. So I'd meet up with people, like my crew, like my girlfriend, all my friends.
So they kind of like follow you in a way.
They follow me along, yeah. So I'll meet them at an aid station, and then once I get everything I need, I'll take off, and then they'll drive to the next one, and they'll have to wait 2, 3, 4 hours for me to get there.
Okay, that's
and then
cool.
I get in the van, I'll sleep, change my clothes. So it's like, I mean, it's kind of a team sport. Like it's like I had a crew of like 9, 10 people following me the whole time. Like we had filmers filming the documentary, and my girlfriend, my mom came out, so it was fun. Just like the second 100 miles was just like me hanging with my friends, and like just running in the desert. It was super cool. And then at the end of the race, it was just like crunch time. Cam called me and sent me this message. I was 15 miles behind the dude in first place who was winning, and Cam gave me this message that just like fired me up, and I was like, "Fuck yeah,
he's a man."
Yeah." And I ran some of my fastest miles of the entire race after mile 200, and then I caught the dude who was in the lead, and I ended up winning the race. So,
You caught him?
Yeah.
I mean those calls fucking help. Yeah. That's why when people honk, even if I'm just doing a small 13, it's like. Because sometimes I'm like mile 1, I'm like, I'm just gonna go back home.
Yeah.
And then you just take one person, go like, boop, boop.
Yeah.
And I go, I'm gonna do it for you. And then
Fuck yeah.
I'm like, come on, give me some love alongside, because he pumps you up. And the guy like Cam sending like when he sent me text before a fight, I'm like, because he's a hard man.
He's a badass motherfucker.
So when a guy like that tell you something, you know it's real.
Yeah.
And I mean that motherfucker can run.
Do you know what's crazy? So he's running this 250 mile that I'm doing too in May. he's running the race too. Bro, he's had a broken foot for like 6 months, and he's still gonna run 250 miles on a fucking broken foot.
That's wild.
That's a badass motherfucker right
Like
there.
the other day, he said something like, "Yeah, I was going for like a 10 miler and I end doing 50." And I'm like, and I just reply, I'm like, "Why are you doing this to me? Because now you're making me think." Because sometimes my knee hurts from
Yeah.
training or something hurts, and I'm like, I'm gonna start.
Yeah.
Once I'm warm, I say, "Fuck it. What's gonna happen?"
Right.
I'd rather happen here than happen there.
Yeah, true.
So it's good. I mean, the community in running, it's great. Like
Yeah.
most of my good athlete friends, like the best ones are the runners.
Yeah.
Because they have that
It's the foundation of everything.
they have that push, that mentality that they always have something good to say.
Mhm.
You know, some other sports like they tell you something and you're like, yeah, right, yeah. I get it, but you don't know.
And there's no tricks, there's no cutting corners in running. It's all just the work that you put in. It's just hard work. Hard work pays only in running. There's no, I mean, some people can be a little bit gifted or talented, but it's all the results you get are from the work that you put in.
Because in other sports, speed, talent, explosions
Mhm.
might play. Running is your legs pushing you one foot a step of the other. That's why like I appreciate running that much, because when I see someone that is not supposed to be there
Mm-hmm.
and he's just doing good, you're like, it's for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's right here when really helps you to push that extra mile, and that's what I feel most of my late success has been because I've been getting into running, and I push running like I'm like running. It's one of my biggest reasons why I'm successful.
When did
today.
you start getting into it?
I will say.
And why? And why did you start running? Just because you liked it?
So when I was younger, when I had my first pro fight, a friend of mine told me like, dude, you should do like 30-minute runs to cardio. And I was like, yeah, but I'm grappling every day and I never get tired. It's like, yes, but it's different. And the guy that told me to do this is not even a runner. And I'm like, sure. I started doing like 30 minutes around my neighborhood. And I remember I couldn't do 30 minutes. I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's hard.
So like I started running more consistently, but it was only between 30 and 45 minutes. That's it. I would run maybe twice a week like that. And I was like, this is a fucking different sport. I can do jiu-jitsu rounds for an hour, all good. But when I started running, I felt how I was like breaking people training. And I was like, okay. So then I disconnect. Then when I moved to the US, when the UFC signed me, I used to live in Albuquerque. And once a week, they go to this crazy hill on Albuquerque's altitude. And a lot of fighters wouldn't go. Like John Jones would go. Like the main guys would go. And I was like, fuck,
Why are these guys being bitches?
I mean, I was thinking, why these guys at my level don't come?
Yeah.
I want to chase John Jones up a hill.
Yeah.
If that's the best in the world.
Yeah.
And it was a gnarly fucking hill. They would do like literally only one from the bottom to the top, and that's it. Because it was like 30 minutes all the way up. And I fell in love. And then even if no one goes, I used to go every Saturday by myself and I just run. And it was outdoor, you know, all the rocks and shit.
Yeah.
And then again, I when I moved, I went back to Ecuador. Then I moved to California. Again, I disconnect with running. And few years ago, when I started training with this wrestling coach, I don't train with him anymore, but he was big into running, and he's the one that put me into the 13 milers, and then
longer distance.
Distance, and then I start running, and then there was a point. Since then till today, 13 miles every Sunday, in and out of camp.
Yeah.
Then close to the fight, I transitioned to more sprinting, and I'm like, once I started doing that, I started breaking people.
Yeah.
The only downside for me is like, since I get so much cardio, I also take a lot of time on God because I know I'm gonna catch people up. So I need that urgency of like, okay, we need to fight right away instead of like just dissecting and figure things out. Just
you know you're gonna have energy at the end, so get after it in the beginning. Yeah.
exactly. But because you know you have so much, you almost kind of
You're
like
I
just
can kind of
sit
get
here.
away with this now.
Just,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that kind of like cost me a little bit in few fights, but then it's like I'd rather have it than don't have it, because sometimes I see a guy and gets tired in 3 minutes, and I'm like, if your only job is to train, to be a fighter.
Why are you getting tired? Right.
It should be illegal to get tired at this
Yeah.
at this level, especially in the UFC. I get if you're starving and whatever, yeah, the mental, everything can play a part. But you're in the UFC, you should be a fucking monster by now. And I see guys that they get tired in the first round.
Yeah.
Sometimes like I'm sparring like a pro boxer and they're way better than I am. Cardio.
Yeah.
Towards the end, I'm fucking just throwing bombs and they're like, holy shit, this MMA fight is supposed to suck. Well, my main coach is a pro boxer, so of course my boxing is gonna be maybe a little cleaner. That's why I can hang with them. But sometimes I'm surprised. I'm like, holy shit, you are getting tired now? I'm like fucking cholo mode now.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going
yeah,
after
yeah.
you. But running it's a big part
I love that.
of why I'm doing this shit.
Yeah. And I think that's why you're so loved by everyone is you got the biggest gas tank. You're never going to give up and no one's going to fucking finish you.
We hope that we keep that
no
one
one's
on.
going to.
We keep that one on and we
You
just
can't
fucking,
stop Chito.
I'm going, bro. I'm pumped from this fight because this is a huge fight because now it's like it's a battle for who goes to the top 5 and I'm like, fuck you. I'm getting my second run.
Yeah.
It's like this is my second win. When people in fighting call like you get tired of them, you got a second win. On my title shot, this is my second win.
Fuck
so
yeah.
I'm going for it. And after that, I joined you in a 250.
Fuck yeah, let's do it. I can't wait.
Around here, we should start going.
Anytime, bro. Anytime. I got tons of 6 spots. I'll take you. Really good trails. I mean, we can do easy. I mean, I'm always down to do easy shit. We can make it as hard as you want it to.
Right.
So, and depending on the day, however you're feeling, like there's plenty of options around here. So
I mean, we can start. We can
I'd
start
love
soon.
to. Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, bro.
Appreciate you.